This week, Tudor launched the limited edition Black Bay Chrono Carbon 25 at the Miami Grand Prix. Now, this is hot on the heels of April's Watches and Wonders releases. And with these hot releases, are Tudor doing enough to stem the sales decline of the last year in these challenging times? In this episode, we have a hands-on look at Tudor's 2025 Watches and Wonders releases, models I've had a chance to try on personally at my local boutique. We'll talk about the design direction, technical challenges and value performance, ending with a few thoughts on where the brand seems to be heading. I'm Andy and welcome to the English Watch. Now, before we get into all matters Tudor, my friends at Mirage Luxury Travel have sent me this quite handsome watch and jewellery travel case in Obsidian Black. It's currently on sale on their website for about 45 quid, and given its construction from genuine leather, it's quite well priced. Now, the overall construction feels pretty substantial with a very nice feeling zipper. Inside there's room for two of your favourite travel watches along with compartments for spare straps, cufflinks or other accessories that you may fit. Now, I don't review a lot of stuff that's offered, as you know, but I think Mirage Luxury Travel offers some great products at a great price for the watch enthusiasts. Now, I'll leave a link in the description below. Now, on another note, and this isn't sponsored by any chance, I just want to reward good customer service. Now, I've got a new pair of sunglasses, and I've got these fetching Tom Ford sunglasses that I think James Bond wore in one of the recent Bond movies. Now, these have got a gradient varifocal lens in. I've got these from Perspective in Solio, so I'd like to thank Dan, because I know he's watching. Well, he should be, because he said he does, for great customer service. That's Perspective in Solihull. Go check him out. So, Tudor continues to refine its position as a more accessible counterpart to Rolex. Not merely a junior brand, but one with its own design language, shaped by heritage. Now, in recent years, we've seen steady, considered updates across the range, many of which have landed well. Now, for 2025, the theme remains incremental evolution rather than reinvention. And the rollout of in-house METAS certified calibers continues, reinforcing a focus on technical credibility. Now, the vintage cues remain central, but there were a few surprises. One in particular stood out during my visit, the unexpected and rather compelling Black Bay 68. Now, I had a bit of a downer on last year's Black Bay 58 GMT, a watch I actually purchased and then returned. You can check that video out. Now, it was a stunning watch that sort of ticked all the boxes, from being the GMT coat that Rolex didn't give us, or the smaller and thinner Black Bay GMT we all wanted. It's just the heavy-handed use of the gold paint that sort of pushed me to ultimately return it. There was just something about it that didn't work for me when it should have been a home run. So let's now focus on 2025 and start with the Black Bay 58 Burgundy. Effectively the 2025 revision of the original 58 that launched Tudor's modern success back in 2018. Now, this year's version quietly upgrades the internals, bringing in the METAS certified movement and the case profile, bezel and crown seen last year on the Black Bay 58 GMT. Now, this Burgundy model is based on an unreleased prototype, but also carries the brand colourway that Tudor uses successfully on the Black Bay 41. Now, I did like the red. It does pop quite a bit, and the dial it's gradient, but it is quite dark, so it's almost black in certain lights. It's not for me, I'll be honest, but I did like it. Now, the original 58 hasn't gone from Tudor's lineup, and it's starting to feel like it belongs to a slightly older generation. And that's a shame, given that it was such a smash hit back in 2018. Now, next, the Black Bay Pro Opaline dial. I have to say, out of all of them, it's probably my favourite. Now, while the METAS caliber and T-fit clasp are very welcome, the watch retains its notably thick profile case. Now, it's a very capable watch, and with the new white dial and contrasting markers, could be a stunning addition to any collection, mine included. Now, it does wear quite tall on the wrist, not helped by that compact 39mm case. And I think as a casual wearer, like many thicker sports watches, like this Planet Ocean, you can sort of forgive some of its shortcomings just to look at that dial. The Pelagos Ultra, Tudor's most technical dive watch today, with 1,000 metres of water resistance. Now, this is not a watch trying to be a vintage line like the Black Bay range. Pelagos is sort of the modern interpretation of the heritage lines. It's unapologetically modern, and it suits the Pelagos line perfectly. And I found it quite wearable and not overly lightweight given its titanium construction. Now, I liked it a lot, and if I didn't already have a large dive watch, I'd give it a serious look. Now to the surprise, the Black Bay 68. And I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting this, and initially thought it was Tudor's April Fool. But no, it's a thing, and you know what? It wears okay. And 43mm, it doesn't wear as big as my Planet Ocean, mainly due to the compact lug-to-lug and narrow 13.6mm case. It looks at first like another iteration of the Black Bay 58, and the name 68 is intriguing. Now, it doesn't reference a known heritage model directly, nor does it fit into the usual reissue mould. Now, this is a more contemporary version of those that have sort of gone before, with the large open gradient dial and the matte bezel. But the question remains, why introduce it at all? Now, it seems to fill a gap that isn't obviously there. Still, it might suit those who find the 58 too small and the 41, well, not quite big enough. Now, clearly Tudor have done the market research, and sort of large dive watches are still popular despite having the Pelagos Ultra in the range. I mean, I continue to wear this. I mean, this is a steel Planet Ocean. It's 43.5mm. I forget how thick it is, about 15mm, but I just think it's great. I mean, it's not an everyday. You wouldn't wear it under a suit. Well, you could do, I suppose. But yeah, why not? Now, so if we sort of roll forward now into Tudor's sort of commercial success performance, if you like. Tudor's performance in the retail space, it remains strong. The brand is positioned confidently sort of just under Omega, Cartier and IWC. And with the sort of METAS certified calibers and the improving build quality, it's reflected. But it's not all good news for Tudor. In a recent Watch Pro article, they reported the big four private watchmakers, Rolex, Patek, AP and Richard Mille, increased their market share over the rest of the Swiss industry by 3%. That's year on year up to 2024. But Rolex's sub-brand Tudor endured a dramatic 34% drop in sales, from 545 million Swiss francs in 23 to 360 million Swiss francs in 24. Now, Tudor will be hoping the moves they have been making this year, along with a much needed brand boost, will help sort of steer that ship into the future. Now, there's not great news on the pre-owned market either, and having sold a Tudor in the last few years, I can attest to that. Most modern lines now underperform in resale, and even the Black Bay 58 GMT, that's softened slightly since its launch last year. Wait times, well, they're a thing of the past, for new models. So that initial scarcity doesn't exist anymore. In fact, you can go into some of the boutiques. You may not see them in some of the authorised dealers, but there's so many boutiques around that you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to walk in and pick up any of the new models. Now competing with all the other mainstream brands on the high street, albeit in a sort of growing monobrand boutique presence. Is there an issue with Tudor's brand and identity? Now, it's difficult to say, as I, like you, are plugged into the watch matrix, but maybe there's still some work to do for the casual buyer. They continue to hold dear to many collectors' hearts, mine included, with vintage-inspired Rolex pieces and value for money. Now, I left the boutique feeling quietly impressed. Tudor isn't reinventing itself in 2025, but it doesn't need to. Okay, it might need to work on its sort of branding, and a little after that resurgence in 2012 with the launch of the Black Bay range and that relaunch in the USA. And they're only just starting to sponsor sports such as Formula One with the Racing Bulls team. And sports have always been good to watch brands, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Tudor finds its feet and establishes itself, maybe leaning a bit more on the watches like the Heritage chronograph that was discontinued a while back. The in-house calibers and METAS rollout, the continued refinement of the Black Bay 58 line, and the watches like the Pelagos Ultra all point to a brand maturing at its own pace. And the Black Bay 68, well, yes, it surprised me. It's clean, precise, and confidently its own thing. Now, if it hints at a new chapter in Tudor's design language, well, I'm here for it. Okay, well, that's all for now. Let me know your thoughts on the Black Bay 68 and any of the other watches, and whether you think Tudor's heading in the right direction. Please also don't forget to check out the link to Mirage Luxury Travel. Well, that's it for me. I'm Andy. This has been The English Watch. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.